afternoon to Gambia. Good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon to each and every listener out there. Mbadingol mbal konto nakal bismillah ka fali Women Association for Women and Victims Empowerment with Gambia wala balejang ni wula rola Capital FM 100.4. Min mun singoti jambi wala keta free legal clinic mi yalo ne ko wefiya kenun koma ni kala dara Women Association for Women and Victims Empowerment ma fale wef money nkale nyimu kafolati mi yalo ne ko ibalorin jang minala kaje ko ka musola nyanto kele ka musola nyanto fasa sako musol mi yalo ne ko iketa a muso victimolati wef nyindum itolba lori wala fanala jang wef dum itola doko dum atata a victim la karola bakale inin victim jamale doko ke minu buko the witch hunt victims min yalo ne ko fon yetol tumi num buaya la ni Gambia banko kan ya jambe tumola inin victimol dol faray doko ke min keta enforced disappearance min yalon safo ko doron ko itol tatale yemanta ila mol koto jambe tumola ila mol me itara dula long victimol fana mi yalo ne ko de wen tutocho ye minuta ka tajrente ko ta ka tiringila nyim banko kan ke lipa ka kuja wata ka akela kalo ila nyanto kan walbe kata multi mi yalo ne ko ni Women Association for Women and Victims Empowerment ini walbe do ko ke ni Gambia banko kanne woni victim do koten jamal ila lodum munyinati kaje ko ka musol fasa sako min yalo ne ko iketa musu victimolti ko man to dum bidding 16 days of activism against gender based violence sotota kelo dum mi yalo ne ko wefi bulo dundi kono min keta tritani woro keloti kaje ko ka hadamadi waduna nyantota ka afasa watumola wefni doñol dum inata ke bulo kafunyo kan min keta nyinki Gambia Bar Association ini wali e bulo dunyo koto inin Freedom House e bulo dunyo koto USAID ani American Bar Association kaje ko kanyin free legal clinic star ka sotondi ala lum folo dun keta fennati mi yalo ne ko keta Alliance Francis le aketa November karo kidim wani lulo 2024 sangola do fana nata kasoto November karo kidim wani seyola 2024 sangola December karo tirisabo free legal clinic keta fenti min tententa wave office soto nyim manjay 2024 sangola December karo tili lulo dum free legal clinic fana nata kasoto December karo tili kononto anin tili tannin kilingo in 2024 sangola wobe wefie free legal clinic sta kake wefla office soto min keta manjati nim free legal clinic du keta fenti mi yala ne ko mol mi legal problem o soto dorong walla dum keta multi mi yala ko ya organize walla free of charge aketa nu wallati modum man fenjo inatale ini loyal nyay nyoje kela legal problem o ta ka senkal loyal ye wal fana dum ye advice o dira ko ibera legal problem ol tala iba kala nyame nyin keta fentile mi yalla ne ko adamu tata nyin ni wef jang adamu tata nun jele adun ketale fana aketa fennati mi yalla ne ko niaje nyimmol ye niaje wef ye nyinta kake yake nyin sababu wala kambala ko ka hada madun wala nyanto fasa ka hada madun wala nyanto kele kaje ko hada madun wala nyanto mu fennati mi yalla ne ko a ñanta ka a sotole wala keta wef singoti pour ye ñinta kake kantu ngalon ne ko ni legal problem o ba momo la legal problem o be bulu imalo iba solve la ñamen o ba kala fentira mi yalo ne ko abela legal problem o tala ka jawyande bar ni keta moti mi yalo ne ko yala legal problem o ini loyal ñañoje ya explain ye idea ta ka dila keso hakilola ita balon nale ini wobita ñamen a mbal fe felale bunda to jam a nga mofu la soto min yalo ne ko woldum fana ibaluwa bunda la to min keta a Muhammad Jenti anin awacham ifara keta multi la mi yalo ne ko i participate a nyin free legal clinics to misal ni Muhammad bula ay ale tente asafale min fongu free legal clinic adum itolia tamandi nyame ni wef kono.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Jonga, for the introduction and overview of what the free legal clinic was all about. I will. So we are now going to talk a little bit much more about what exactly is free legal service. So I may not want to talk without referring to the NALA Act 2008. As per Section 7 of this Act, it says that an indigent that cannot afford a legal representation or a legal representative per se uh, will be given or will be accorded a legal representation for a court of competent jurisdiction. So WAVE itself as an organization then came up with the idea of now considering how they will be able to solve the problem of indigent clients and individuals, especially victims of human rights abuses that have occasioned in the past years during the authoritarian rule. So the activity then brought about various stakeholders, including legal practitioners and individuals who are actually fake when it comes to the issue of handling victims' cases and all of that. And once that was the case, most of the victims that were actually being interviewed for the program, we were able to identify various of them who were actually saying that, apart from the fact that they are not able to afford legal representation, they also had issues when it comes to speaking up because of the issue of silence, the culture of silence that the country has underwent over the years. So apart from giving free legal advice to all these clients and victims during the program, we're also able to also put them through about their rights and the right for them to be able to speak up, their right to freedom of expression, and Chapter 4 of the Constitution, in particular, Section 24, on the right to fair trial. So, in a nutshell, the free legal service that was organized by the organization that we're talking about here today was a top notch. In fact, was so very, very proactive as it engaged various stakeholders in the quest of justice. So, Ms. Jonga, I don't know if there's more other things to be added, but I want to say that apart from this legal step, I mean, when it comes to enforcement of fundamental human rights that the organization has been doing and been taking care of and be organizing this program itself to ensure that individuals and people out there and listeners alike were able to know exactly what is going on. It's also one way in ensuring that there is right to free trial and justice is not only being served, also being heard and seen being done. So this one, kudos to the team of WAVE and kudos to you too, Ms. Jonga, for organizing the show. I I am not sure if I was a little bit carried away by the speech of Ms. Jonga. I could not remember whether I was introduced. Let me use this opportunity to quickly introduce myself. Okay, I am Mohammed Jeng, and I usually want to be referred to as Mohammed Titi Jeng because my mom, the late mother of mine, was my motivation and also my inspiration. So I've accepted her name as my middle name. I'm a legal practitioner, I'm a lawyer, and so keen interest when it comes to fundamental human rights enforcement procedures, when it comes to advocacy, and in fact, what we are talking about today on this radio show. Thank you so much Ms. Jonga, as we move forward, I'll be adding to the presentations in order for the listeners to also follow. Thank you very much.
Okay, wonderful listeners out there to be reminded, this is Capital FM 100.4 100.4 FM, Women Association for Women and Victims Empowerment. The topic of discussion is free legal clinic that we have done before. We have our cham, that will take us through more about the free legal clinic.
Um, Fatou Jonga ma lay jaajëfal bu baax a baax a baax te before my start suma wax bi dama bëgg a leeral ne rek suma olof bi nag setut bu baax waaw waaye si katam yàlla dinaa try ma en soo lépp lu ma lefen si wàllum wolof ma wax ko li nga xam ne su ma amee jafe-jafe foog naa Fatou di nga ma si jàppale waaw so Fatou ma ngi lay jaajëfal bu baax a baax a baax ak wéef di jaajëfal Priscilla bu baax a baax so man maay Awa Echam man amee people barista liggéey naa ak wéef that was around 2019 ba pare tamit engage naa ak wéef si lot of activities when and also projects, especially the African Transitional Justice Legacy Fund project, the National Endowment Fund project, ak project you demee noonu daal bari na torop suma engagement ak Wave waaye nag duma guddal wax bi torop dama focus rek si lu tax ñu teewe fii tey comme lu ko suma collègue bi waxee rek Mohamed Dieng xam naa leeral naa ne legal aid clinic si angale ne moo nekka service bi nga xam ne lawyer moo ko dee jox nit yi nga xam ne den soxla ndimbal si affaire yi nga xam ne moo leen sonal si seen ay jafe-jafe yi nga xam ne sonal na leen si seen social life wala private issues daal so usually free bi is talking about ne mun ngaa gis lawyer even if without you ngay fay xaalis pour nga am the necessary advice. So the free legal clinic who Wave conduct, it was very helpful because danga gis ne si Gambia bi fii then certain people in nga xam ne they are very reserved when it comes to their issues duñ dee jóg ñu wax te danga gis ne nit fekk jóguloo nga wax nit yi duñ xam sa problème te dafa jot ñu wax ak nit ñi ne free legal clinic mun nga koo am si kaw soo jógee because organisation like Wave ak yeneen organisation ñi nga def liggéey yu mel nii especially Wave so suñ ko defee free because ñu den Wave dafa feel like ne am na nit yi nga xam ne bugga neen advice but amun the financial need so dangaa gis ne financial aspect bi moo leen dee tere pour ñu jóg wax seen problème nit ñi pour ñu dimbale leen so problème mu ngaa jóg wax ku nekk sa problème but the legal aspect of it because benn nit ki xëj na xamut lan mooy right xëj na xamut what are the available remedies yi nga xam ne moom mun na koo am pour solve problème te loolu il faut ñu leeralal leen ne am neen lu ñu ooyee free legal clinic or legal clinic free legal clinic si ñi nga xam ne dañ ko bëgg a joxe without payment comme Wave nu mu ko defee nii so man nag suma experience si legal aid clinic bu Wave conduct it was huge because si 1 week legal aid clinic boobu am naa opportunity bi pour dimbale ñu bari especially women like myself ñu wax ak gaay si wàllum seen issues you understand so dangaa gis ne fekk ñu ñëw wax together and then ñu mën a solve ci yéen women are facing a lot in our society so free legal aid clinic bi basically is here to was ñu support leen ñoom ñu advice leen ne lii ak lii moo nekk li nga xam ne moo applicable sa case te these are the things that we suggested for you
Okay, awa lu nga wax am na solo torop am na solo bu baax a baax a baax because being here free of charge, free legal clinic. Man, I believe that many people in the Gambia are going through legal issues. They are going through legal problems because di nga gis at times di nga nekk di waxtaan ak nit rek mu wax la issue bi nga xamante ne moom he or she doesn't think that yes this is a legal issue or this is a legal problem, and at times dañ dee discourage di nga gis nit dina ñëw fii mu wax la ne diw dañ ma rape. How many times? Different times. Kimarip, I am seeing the person every day walking around, but you will, instead of helping that person to speak up, you will tell that person to be silent because of the stigma behind it, because of the society, bi lu ñuy wax. That is the reason di nga ñëw nga wax kooku loolu. So I think people need people to talk to. Honestly, in the Gambia here, we need things like this free legal clinic to have people to talk to. Because at times we will be taking the wrong step. We will not even know, yes, this one has stepped on my right. What this one have done to me. What will I do? Xamuñ ko suñ ko xamee woon it will be something that will be like dina wàññeeku. If you see that people are stepping on each other's right in this country, it's because people don't know their rights. People don't know what they need to do. They don't know the steps to take. So man, I believe that come things like this free legal clinic, stuff like that, su fi bare dina nekk lu nga xamante ne it will bring a lot of improvements. Because nobody so then why free legal clinics, they will be like, I don't know what is free legal clinic. And people are stepping on your right every day. You need to know. You need to have a space to go to. You need to have someone to talk to. At times, you will be at home crying because you don't have someone to talk to. You don't have someone to tell your problem to. But if you hear about such things like free legal clinic, we are doing it here and there, you hear about it, you have a legal problem, you can go ahead, talk to a lawyer because that is his or her profession. The person will tell you what to do. Why so naked the talk secretary? You are talking to me. I am not a lawyer. I don't know. I will tell you, okay, someone raped you or someone violated your right. Okay, don't say anything because if you talk, maybe you will be in another problem because the person is more powerful than you. Gis nga fi muy ñëwee. So in that aspect, comme ñu ko dee def dinañ gën a am doole pour def ko waaye comme su fekkee ne gis nañ organizations like WAVE, they are fighting for people's rights, they are fighting for human rights, they are fighting like they are standing against human rights violation. Ñu indi stuff like free legal clinic nga ñëw tey nga xam sa right. Tomorrow nit su bëggee step on your right, you will be like, I will not allow it because it should not be. Warut nekk.
Obviously bëgguma laa lifin sax de but I think lii foog ma wax ko man bu ma duggee Wave and I observe the way things work there si laa xam ne this is my place. But although due to certain issues, I have to, acquire some of my, complete pursuing my, legal training. So, but Wave dafa nekk organisation bi nga xam ne dafa match ak man suma person. Lu tax because Wave liggéey leen xam te when it comes to this human rights protection ñoom ñu ngi si kaw loolu noonu because baa ngi imagine ñu ngi demoon kër Mot Ali, you understand. So that was the post TRRC. So da ngaa gis ni Wave si kaw loolu dafa taxaw and then you engage the community through listening cycle. So da ngaa gis noonu si listening cycle boobu noonu community bi they were able to open up and share their issues. So Wave moo taxaw si kaw loolu and so many women today they are empowered and some of them are self-sufficient. Wave moo leen train ba gaay taxaw. So in terms of free legal aid clinic bu Wave organize boobu bu mu xewee da wax ne lii is not the first really for Wave and I'm truly happy to join Wave in that aspect.
Pour yokk kaddu si lu nga wax tuuti rek moo nekk Wave what they are doing is very inspiring honestly luñ dee def nuñ taxawalee jigéen ñi nuñ taxawee because we will go outside to the communities, talk to them. But come to think of it, it's not only like doing free legal clinics or stuff like that. But ñu ngi offer yu nga xamante ne things like MHPSS, because gis nañ victims yu bari ñu nga xamante ne they went through trauma, they are going through a lot. So no moo tax ñu indi stuff like that. Am nañ women support group. Women support group bi moo nekk lu nga xamante ne dañ dee dem in a particular community, suñ demee foofu ñu ubbil victims si women support group. Suñ ubbilee victims si women support group then dinañ nekk foofu di amal ñoom conversation, we have meeting with them, different things ñu organize and then MHPSS, just to see that number one, we help them in the aspect of standing for themselves. Because today I cannot empower you when only I am there. I have to teach you skills which are with than ko dee def, because places like Kenmouth Ali def nañ ko foofu. Victims yi, women victims yi, send women support group, they are making beaded shoes, they are making beaded bags, they are making tubes and a whole lot of things which is helping them. Today, even if wave is not there for them, they can do it for themselves. These are the kind of support that we need to provide to provide for women, not just to go there, have meetings with them and disperse. At the end of the day, they will not get anything out of it. But skills, this is something that stays. Because gis nga soo joxee nit skill dina nekk lu nga xamante ne it will stay in that person. So lii moo tax web dañ dee génn si biti ñu am women support group, dañ dee am meeting ak ñoom, we give ideas to each other, ñu waxtaan, we share ideas, we do engagements, we engage in MHPSS so that for their mental health to be intact, we do all those things. Yes.
So, speaking on the free legal service, which I believe is the main theme of the reason why we're here, it is quite important to point this out. During the activity itself, I was able to notice or identify that most of the clients, majority of them, more than 95% of them, were women, and that really touched my mind, touched my heart, and I kept on thinking about it. And then making Women's Association for Victims Empowerment, otherwise WAVE, coming in these trying times for these women is actually very, very proactive and reformative in nature if we look at it from that dimension. And then, apart from listening to them and taking up their cases to make sure that justice is done, it's also one means of empowering these women for them to know that at least somebody, an organization, is somewhere that can listen to their claims, listen to their worries and their problems, and providing them solutions. Most importantly, judicial remedies. So to me, women empowerment is one of the key things, one of the key activities which I think WAVE is really, really proactive enough about, and never joke about it. And bringing about this free legal service, I think other organizations, agencies that are in line with advocacy and in this regard can also emulate WAVE as an organization and do something similar. One thing I believe is that a tree cannot make a forest. It must be a bunch of trees or many trees, as no man is an island. And if we want to see the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, goal 16 to 17 is saying that partnership for the goals. And one of the goals, goal number 5, is saying that it's talking about women empowerment. And in order for us to empower our women and ensure that the never again mantra did not repeat in this country, we all need to work together, and as we cannot work in isolation. So this may sound like an advice, and I noticed that the anchor of the show is signaling to me that I've been speaking too much. But I want to stop here. If another minute is given to me to speak, I will want to. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mohammed, for that wonderful statement. To be reminded, this is Women Association for Women and Victims Empowerment with Gambia. We on Capital FM 100.4 FM. The topic of discussion is free legal clinic. As to be reminded, the free legal clinic was funded by American Bar Association under the under the Promoting Right and Justice program. This is something that was very interested and very important. Mbadingol kom kamim falye dorong wala nyinti ko Women Association for Women and Victim Empowerment wala bijang sainteng minketa wave Gambia ti manam kafo mimba loring kakata ko ke kaji ko hada madungol la nyanto dun sa ke fenti mi yalo ne ko mota lola kang mi Gambia banko kang ko nga falye num ko manto nyameng nim free legal clinic wala en sijang mi yalo ne ko wefi yake nung ini donyol dum fara ye bulo dum yokoto min keta American Bar Association ti wala keta multi mi yalo ne ko itol dum fara ni wefi ye bulo dum yokoto kaje ko nim free legal clinic sa ke fenti mi yalo ne ko aba kela no nyamen adun aketa fenti mi yalo ne ko adamu tata adun atata ni silo dum fana lale ñim free legal clinic dum abake ake amanke fen kilinti mi yalla nako wefe wodoro neke ñi Gambia banko kanjam wefe ku jama leke ni ya jibe hani bi fango wefe kata molti la mi yalla nako ini la women support group nte wodi la kante kontan bake na nata wefe la karola ila women support group ka findi musol de mangol yesi ye diamu ye nyola problemo long ida mali si yela moy nyola ye bala fa nyoye minu kata a nyim muso victime wolti musol mi yalla ne ko fongo bata fu late ka ni Gambia banko kande ku jama late kan ni Gambia banko kande itol kata molti mi yalla ne ko bi ye ila ye bemo dota ka soto ni wave office of kono jele ka je ko ida malsa si ye diamu musol da mali ye kacha yela ideal ta dum ka a fay nyokan mi yalo ne ko fam atata ni nyin TRRC ila nyin implementation wala wobe keta fenti mi yalo ne ko akachata nyin keno dum fanato itol fanadu musol da mal dum idiamu ta jele ka je ko min batinna la wef bita nyato tumo mina itol dum fango ye fango je ni wef kono le kaje ko wef fango mi tol dun talati tumo mina wef la ka kuma jama dun ta ka a seneyandi itol la nimbe keta petre mi yala ne ko aketa nin dun niaje wef ya kumandi ya jela ko musol dun damangol kesa muta nyofe kesa ke molti mi yala ne ko iba bala fala nyoye isa nyola a problème o ta kalon yalon manam ni ma mola problème o kita bala fala no way so wala ya tinna women support group tarata je kacha jamal dum fana tatale idamu tata wodula adu ni women support group ila ni programme odu atakala fenti mi yala ne ko abadanna a bida malala a programme ba kala fenti ne mi yala ne ko abatendenna ni dungol be kono kaje ko musol ida mal dun sa benyamen ankai ida mal sa ila moy nyola isake moti mi yalo ne ko iba bala fala nyoye bi arjumo dun ta damu tatal talato fara siltan ni lulo banjun wo fana ba talal banjun ko kanana ne web Gambia la women association for women and victims empowerment discuss tabi wal kata accountability mechanism memorization kaje ko kan hakilo bulani ko nga fa nyamendo ajo mu never again ajlati mbamuna dum fana kela kote ke pour kaje ko ambadna ko remember la minu keta nanu minu yala ne ko idimita bakale iketa na ko mbe remember la nyadire listening and taking circle discussion fana ketale on the implementation of the TRRC recommendation ko keta fentimi yala ne ko Aisa D Jallo wala wodi wefla human rights assistant wala keta wote mi yala ne ko ay wodi ni rafta do ida bula nyin kachato isa kumandiro ke ni line wala min kata 3331004 mfelale ja Capital FM Women Association for Women and Victims Empowerment with Gambia mtolle bale jan sante
man luma bëgga wax rek si free legal aid clinic bi bëgg naa tamit discourse comme yan matuwaay laa jël pour ensure ñu ma nekk di interview jël naa their statement and offer them the best possible legal advice. So what I did, comme lu ma def during the 1 week legal aid clinic moo nekk ne dama am the opportunity pour dimbale jigéen suma mbokki jigéen yi nga xam ne den face ay problème. So lii dafa nekk li nga xam ne dafa important trop because daf ma jàppale ma apply suma legal knowledge si si a practical setting daal. So si kaw loolu noonu suma first approach bi moo nekk ma make sure ne jigéen yi jàppale ne leen bu baax a baax a baax by making sure ne def naa environment bi mu conducive for them. So lii daf ma dimbale trop because at the end of the day gars yi den feel comfortable pour voice out their concern. So approach bii nii at the end of the day dafa dimbale bu baax seen open up about their case. So that open up dimbale na ma bu baax ma déglu bu baax seen problems and then ma offer guy the best possible advice based on their cases. So case bu nekk dafa unique, so doo ñëw rek nga jox guy an advice, but man the strategy li fi duma employ moo nekk ne amicable settlement because dama believe ne loolu is key and is fundamental because most of the people that I interview ñoom seen problème yi yëpp is something that can be negotiated. So loolu laa def ma make sure ne dama jox gars yi advice bi nga xam ne dinañ am ay steps yi nga xam ne yooyu la ñoo jël pour ñu negotiate about their issues because soo ko seetloo léegi court bi dafa bari ay cases trop te certain cases yi ñu ngi drag court. So in fact ñu jàppale nit ñi ñu support gars yi ñu solve seen problems without going to court. So dangaa gis ne lii daf ñoo help trop because dafa reduce the number of cases in court ba pare tamit dafa ensure ne there is unity among us. So soo ko xoolee comme man ak yow laissez Fatou man ak yow den am issue ñu dem court xam nga the relationship will not be smooth, dinañ fa am ay disagreement xéetante ak yooyu noonu, that is not peaceful. So dangaa gis ne man ak yow suñ toogee ma ne Fatou ñu waxtaan ñu juboo, understand dafa isi that peace and that unity which is very fundamental and we've ñoom sax xamul lu gaay def because this training is very fundamental and the people that I interview they appreciate it a lot because some of them say then wax ne like they feel that different like they say comment out and speak is a problem because you have to assure them that your statement is confidential, you understand, because that alone is hope to them. So this opportunity given to them, and I believe this opportunity is a step towards their empowerment. Because Soko said, Law, most women, you understand, for you to empower them, for jail aspect, and this is a step towards that. Because only if you bunta, ngene kai, nga wama sa problem, sa jang lako. Obviously, yangi ibil guy bunta, punya am that confident, you tahawal sen boba. So buguma jail time be but dina post wagum fi.
It is important to note that the National Agency for Legal Aid does have the mandate to provide free legal services to indigent people who have been charged for capital offense and the rest. However, this does not actually extend to civil matters or civil cases, in as much as the minimum wage as a requirement is yet to be decided by the Minister of Finance. So it makes it difficult for indigent individuals who are actually taking up cases of civil in nature, say fundamental human rights matters, to be able to be provided free legal services or free legal representation. So this is where then WAVE came in. Again, Women's Association for Victims Empowerment, otherwise WAVE, then came in to fill in the gap. And as I said earlier, Section 8 of the National Agency for Legal Aid Act does make provision for that, but not extensively to incorporate civil matters because the Minister of Finance is here to define minimum wage as a requirement to be given free legal representation or free legal service from the agency itself. So Wave is doing a lot in this regard, and this is really profound to me. It's spectacular to see an organization such as Women's Association for Victims Empowerment to take up the challenge of doing this. And also their partners who have also been supporting them in making this possible. Kudos to all of them. And to me, what I can also add at this point in time is that other organizations that are interested in ensuring that justice is done and what we have experienced over the years in this country did not repeat itself should come on board. And always, Wave is always available to partner with any organization in this regard. For us, I mean, for me in particular, I work at the African Center for Legal Research and Training, and we've been working together with Wave since the time I can recall, and the partnership has been very, very amazing. So we want to encourage any individual or organization that want to join Wave in this quest of making sure that justice is done and what we have experienced in the past never repeat itself. Just to remind our listeners that you can always call or send text messages. I don't know if that is allowed. Is allowed? Okay. So you can send your text messages if to call may be a constraint to triple free 1004. So triple free 1004, and you can always state your concerns, your questions, or your doubt, or any other thing or contribution to the show as we move forward. Let me just add this before I hand over to the madam coordinator of the show that uh, the legal clinic, free legal clinic that was hosted or organized by Women's Association for Victims Empowerment, otherwise WAVE again, does not only stop at giving people or individuals, clients, free legal advices. It also includes advocacy, sensitization, and training. And beyond this, we also engage with these victims who are also clients during this process that may have issues concerning. I think we have a caller. Yes. Oh, sorry, we missed the caller. Please, you can always call or send your text messages to triple free 1004. Triple free 1004. So, as I was saying, the program does not only stop at giving free legal advices, it's also involved activities such as advocacy, which is if you are been going over the social media and online, or if you've been going around, you'll be seeing the flyer of the organization concerning free legal services and some of the activities that they have been engaging in order to ensure that every individual without discrimination is given justice that he or she is deserved. And sensitization during the free legal clinic, uh, there were some training when it comes to enforcement of fundamental human rights. So we missed that caller again. Please, I think the network may be a problem. You can also send your text messages as we move forward in this program. So sensitization was a part of the program, which was very, very holistic when it comes to how to enforce one's rights, when it comes to fundamental human rights, in particular, right of women and girls and vulnerable individuals within the society. They were also training on how to conduct some kind of findings when it comes to when there's alleged or allegation of violation of certain human rights of people, and what are the steps to be taken in ensuring that these rights are enforced. And I could recall that if I don't want to, in fact, I don't want to prejudge or breach my professional ethics, so I'll be speaking a little bit in parable when it comes to my engagement with most of these clients. So, people can actually have this right to be enforced and exercised, but they usually face the problem of stereotype, saying that it's because you are a woman. That is why you always want to accuse people of them violating you or raping you or sexually abusing you. You want to use that against them because you are a woman, or because you are a man, you think you can just do whatever you want to do. So during the program, we were also able to put some of the clients in line for them to understand that the law does not take consideration of gender or race or tribe or wherever you are from, or your political status or your status in the society. What is interested in is justice. And in as much as justice is to be done, justice, if somebody who has been violated, who's already been perpetrated upon, did not speak up, justice may be difficult to be exercised or to be done. So some of these things were also put across, and also letting them know that the culture of silence, as we used to have it in the past years, is no more. People can speak up, and they have their rights within Section 25 of the 1997 Constitution to express themselves in as much as it is within the law. So again, some of our callers who have been trying to call, you can send your text messages. You can send text messages to 333-1004, 333-1004, 333-1004, 333-1004. Thank you. So at this point, I want to hand over to Madam Coordinator, as we are all trying to make sure the program is properly organized and our listener out there able to get the message. Uh, Ms. Jonga, I think at this point, we should also talk a little bit about how far have we gone as an organization when it comes to advocating for these women? Because during that period, all the people that I was in contact with, that I interviewed, they were all women. I'm not sure of others, but they were all actually women. So this is a cause for concern. This is now, we don't need a rocket scientist to now tell us that women are more vulnerable when it comes to violation of their rights.
Basically, to add something, because you um, talk about something that reminded me of something, obviously. So, yeah. So, harma delluwaat si olof bi bala ma yaa rule bi waaw a jong a faatu waaw so da nga gis ne bu ma nekkoon ak Women's Association for Victims Empowerment mun naa wax ne comme suma participation bi si just recently concluded free legal aid clinic was not the first interview I had with victims with respect to WAVE. I def naa yeneen lii nii interview ak yeneen victims si yeneen project ak WAVE xam naa dina am koola waaw so si office bi
Hello, caller.
yeah bu ma nekkoon ak WAVE I had the opportunity ma interview ñi nga xam ne ñooñu victims leen so man suma wàllum interview bi nekku the first time when it comes to WAVE dafa nekk ne bi is more of legal aspect yes so boobu noonu yeneen yi yu ma yaagoon a def ak WAVE boobu noonu is more of listening to them, listening to their stories, their problems, you understand. But the one that was just concluded, boobu noonu is more of a little bit involvement of legal aspect. So da nga gis ne boobu you have da nga war a analyze, understand them, and then you give them the best advice that you believe they could, it will really help them in terms of their situation. I think Fatou dafa da nga bëgg a ñëw wala.
Okay, thank you so much, Awa. We have a message from a listener that say, thank you for your program and thank you for listening as well. Awa comme no ko nekk di waxee comme free legal clinics bi and comme WAVE seen liggéey in general. When we said Women Association for Women and Victims Empowerment, it doesn't necessarily mean that we only working with women, leaving men behind. Because you cannot just go ahead with women and leave men behind. When it comes to things like the witch hunt, we work with the witch hunt victims. You see in the documentary, you will see men talking.
Yes.
Because those are things that affect both men and women. Because and in that aspect, we sit and think, yes, this is something that affect a man and a woman. Or my wife have been captured, so that she's a witch. And that trauma goes to everyone in the compound, especially the husband. So when we sit and think about that, they said, okay, now, who told you that men are not going through trauma? they are going through trauma because when you are accused of being a witch, we know how it works. So in that way, we work with both males and women. Yes. So when we have things like that, so we also consider what men are. We are not just working with, because we can say, when we said victims, for example, when we said victims, you cannot work with victims leaving the society behind, because they are the people that are supporting the victims. If they didn't understand what is going on, the victims, with the trauma they are having, it will never go away. For example, today someone is being raped, and the person came out to TRC and said that I am raped. And at the end of the day, the society is angry on that person, especially the stigma that people have behind it. Hey, suma waxee ne dañ ma rape, duma amaat jëkkër. Suma waxee ne dañ ma rape, suma family bi reputation am bi dina yaaxu. So those are the things that people have in mind. So if the society are not educated and informed about rape, and are not informed that those that are raping people, rape is a crime, and they need to be prosecuted for it. They need to be taken to justice. Justice needs to be served to victims of rape. If they didn't know that, the trauma will go back to the woman. Even though if the law have captured the man, so the woman will still go through that problem in the society, because they will never back her. They will be like dafa fen, they will be like dafa foog ne jigéen la, daf ko tuumal, daf ko lii, daf ko la. But if they have that knowledge, if they have the knowledge that okay, this is rape, this is how it should be done, so in that case di nga gis ne dina wàññeeku. Even if we cannot eradicate everything, dina wàññeeku.
It
Even
still comes back to the free legal aid advice, because obviously when you don't know your rights, obviously you don't know your rights, you don't know your limitation, you don't know, you understand. So it all comes back to that. So obviously you are very right. Some people definitely they don't know, you understand, how to fight for themselves. So that this is why it's very important for them to take a first step, that is this free legal clinic that we have organized. This is, I believe, this is the first step that can empower women. Because when you invite them, obviously, I just want to urge people, you understand, especially organization, to do what WAVE is doing. You understand? WAVE is doing a lot and is expanding in terms of women's rights and human rights in general. So,
Mohammed, what is
Mohammed,
your final word to the public?
3 minutes.
I'll be sandwiched, but I will try to speak up. Okay, my voice is my power, so I'll use that very well. I'm just kidding. So my final words is that one victim is 10 victims. 10 victims are 100 victims. So we are all, as naturally speaking, victims, and therefore we should be speaking up. And I will continue to encourage and advocate for other organizations to emulate what Women's Association for Victims Empowerment is doing when it comes to access to justice in this country, towards the agenda of ensuring that never again mantra is a matter of course, and then what we have experienced in the past did not reoccur. Thank you.
As we all know, the time is against us. It's 5. Comme badi mo nga fala nyamin dora wato felanting ayan jamfa kal hakil bulandi dora Women Association for Women's and Victims Empowerment kafo mi yalo ne ko dorong itol bazuri ne kaje ko had musol du itol kango samoy musol sere nyanto soto no nyamen anim fana kalo musol ye sako min yalo ne ko iketa musu victimol leti walla bi jambi ntala bale jam fatu jonga mi yalo ne ko abela diamu bundal to manam isafa ko ila kibar janjang bunda to nga awa cham so tale jam mi yala ne ko ata fana dum aba luwala fanala la do kola ata fana keta mot mi yala ne ko ay free legal clinic ka dadun je ni wave office ko no nga Muhammad jam fana so to janna mi yala ne ko ata fana keta mot mi yala ko anata adadun nim free legal clinic kono kaje ko kamol ka hada madingol support bake ila nyanto tala bara